guys, happy Wellness Wednesday. I'm Angel Fogg, the Fitness Angel, and I'm so excited. We have a very special guest with us today, Maureen Wild, and I love that I will never forget your name when I'm reading this book. It's the author of Getting to the Root by Connecting to the Vine. So this is a book that I am reading, and it's more than a book. It really is like a Bible study. And we actually have a book club every month. And sometimes it takes us 2 or 3 months, but we read a book together. So I'm excited. This is our book. And if you want to be in the book club, just put in the chat or let Maureen or me know, and we will add you to that book club. It's on Facebook. It's totally free. You can be in there. And then November 14th, we would like to be finished with the book by November 14th. And Maureen is going to be a guest speaker to go more in depth on the book and answer questions. It'll be more of a discussion, a book club. So it'll be a lot of fun. We'd love to have you guys on. But I wanted today to have Maureen on because I'm just getting to know her through our company, the Juice Plus company. And I love her story. And I wanted her to share just some reasons why she wrote the book and why it's special and why she partnered with our company. And I'm so glad she did because now I get to know her. Yeah. But Maureen lives in the Arizona area. I'm in the Nashville, Tennessee area. So I love that you can do this wherever you live. Thank goodness we have Zoom, right? So Maureen, I'm just going to jump right in and say, why? Why did you choose to write this book?
Well, it truly was more like a compulsion because I had gone through such a dramatic health change that my story really isn't about, it is truly about just the day-to-day aches and pains that we all go through that was affecting my quality of life. And I knew there had to be a deeper reason, like why I was experiencing these pains instead of just getting, a shot here or take a pill here or what have you. And so once I was able to nail down the fact and really get to the root, was that the way I was eating was affecting my entire body. And so I actually did a blood test, and when I eliminated the foods that showed my body was being negatively affected by these particular food proteins, then I just had a dramatic 180 change in my health, and it was just amazing to me. And I thought, this is like so simple. Like, why doesn't everybody else know about it? And it just truly became a compulsion because we don't hear about people, at least I don't, hear about people having a change in their diet and that it starts affecting just the normal little aches and pains. And a classic example is literally because of the way I've made this change in my life. Literally just a couple weeks ago, I was doing something extremely strenuous. I took a step, like I walked with my foot and I put it down and my ankle like snapped and I heard it pop. And so I was like, this is crazy. Like something so simple, but you know what? The pain, I experienced a lot of pain for that very first day, but after that, the bruising, which you would normally get from something like that, I didn't get all the purple. My body immediately went to the yellow part of the healing for a bruise. And I just know that that's from, and I truly believe it's from, just how my body is able to fight that inflammatory response when we get those kinds of injuries. So just whatever. If I could share hope and encouragement with other people of how they can have this change in their health, and who doesn't want, a better health, right? Who doesn't want hope? Who doesn't want encouragement? And so, I really feel that God's gifted me with encouragement to encourage other people. And so it just really became that compulsion I've just got to share my story and being able to put that down in book format And as I took the journey of writing the book, it truly became a spiritual journey as well. And so I knew there was just more to what I had gone through or was going through in my life that needed to be shared with others.
Yes. Yes, I love it. That was kind of lead up to my next question is, how did your faith and your health journey come together in this book? Because you really did a great job of putting that together.
Yes. Well, really, for me, my health, my faith, just everything about me is like all intertwined. And so I can't separate the two. It's just who I am. And when I was initially experiencing all this pain in my body, I wanted obviously to become pain-free. But as I took the journey, as I walked through the journey, in a lot of prayer, really just seeking the Lord in what am I supposed to do? How can I do this? How can I take better care of my, my temple, my body that you've given me? And then it became more, even just a stronger compulsion to share, to be healthy in order to be able to share the gospel message of the good news that God's given us through his son, Jesus Christ. And it really was, it was just so enlightening for me to have the experience of how he'd walked me through this journey to actually put it down in book format.
Yeah.
That, there was definitely the physical component to it, but then through the journey, I realized I had emotional issues with food. And so that obviously is another chapter in the book. And then just the spiritual journey, and how he revealed himself to me in different ways, very powerful ways to continue on in sharing this message and sharing how it can be helpful and hopeful for others.
I love that. There was something you shared with me about the blood test. Tell them what I just love that.
Yes. So as I mentioned, I did a blood test and I was tested for 115 different foods and spices and different things. And my body reacted to, gosh, I lose count now. You'd think I'd know after all these years, but it was somewhere like in the 30s, like 30 different foods that my body negatively reacted to. And as I eliminated those specific foods, like I said, I just had such a dramatic change in the way I was feeling. I had so much pain. The pain was going on for like over a year. But once I eliminated those foods and was able to reduce the inflammation that was going on in my body, the pain literally went away in 2 weeks. And so I was just praying. I'm like, Lord, how can a simple blood test reveal such powerful results? And I don't know if any of you have experienced it, but it was one of those moments where you just feel like God is like very audible and just speaking so directly to you. And he just said, Maureen, there is power in the blood. And if you think about it from a physical standpoint, yeah, doctors are constantly taking, blood tests to reveal all kinds of different things, different markers, genetic stuff is done through the through the blood and all that kind of thing. But then it was also that huge spiritual component. I mean, Jesus's blood is powerful for our salvation, for what he did for us on the cross was just,
it's everything.
It's everything. Yeah. I mean, I can't even put words to it. It's just, crazy grateful is all I could say. Crazy grateful.
Yes.
So just, the blood is just, it was just so powerful. So
that is so powerful. Thanks for sharing that. And also I noticed the forward was written by Dr. Doug Odom. Sorry, I'm getting some work done on my house. I might hear a noise. But Dr. Doug Odom, who's here with us, retired OBGYN, and also with our company, Juice Plus. Tell us how you met Dr. Odom and how it came that he would write the foreword for your book.
Oh, I mean, one of the things, sometimes, I mean, God's stories are just crazy stories, because it was during a particular time in my life where I was having a really difficult work season. And so I was meeting with one of my pastors at church and just sharing with him, you know, in a counseling session, that I was just really struggling with this. And he was like, well, what do you really want to, you know, what would you really like to do? And I said, well, you know, I have this manuscript of a book that at some point I'd really like to get it published. And he said, well, you know what? I know a guy. So he gave me that guy's contact information. Well, that guy gave me the phone number for a woman who was an editor. And that woman gave me another phone number for Elizabeth, who was my editor. And then Elizabeth was reading and obviously editing my book. And she goes, you know, I really think you need to meet Dr. Odom. She says, he's given a Zoom talk about gut health and our immunity and everything. She says, I just think you should really meet him. So I got on that particular Zoom call. And one of the things as a part of my journey that was very just troubling for me is that our traditional medical system doesn't know about the huge benefit of nutrition. And so when I learned that Dr. Odom, who is a retired OBGYN medical doctor, he was so fluent in understanding about nutrition and the impact that it has on our bodies. At the end of his Zoom presentation, you know, I got off mute and I just made a comment and said, I am just so, you know, pleased. I'm just so excited that you know, are a medical doctor that is talking about nutrition. And so that conversation led to some more conversations, and then with him. And then at one point I just got bold and I just said, I know you're a busy man, but would you, you know, read my manuscript, and would you feel like you could endorse it for me? And he was so gracious enough to take that project on, and not only did he endorse it, but then he wrote the actual foreword to it. And so I'm just beyond blessed that he, you know, would do that for me, and so believed in my message, in my story, that he wanted to also be a part of it. And so I'm just very grateful. Yeah. So It's just crazy how God puts these different people. I mean, Dr. Odom is in Mississippi. So how in the world would I be able to meet, you know, a man, a retired doctor, you know, who had the same message, had the same heart passion as I do, you know, 3/4 of the country away from me, and how God put us together has just been great. So
yeah, I agree with you. God puts the right people in your life when you're looking, when you're praying. He just does it. He does. It's more than we could do on our own. And you know, this is God's story.
Right.
You get to partner with God and put it on paper, but it is a God story. So I just love that. So tell us then, how did you become a part of the Juice Plus community? You're already, I mean, changing your diet helped tremendously. So why would you add Juice Plus to your diet?
Well, I began to see, again, I was introduced to it by Elizabeth, my editor, and certainly Dr. Odom as well. But I just realized that, yes, my body certainly had a dramatic change while I was doing my elimination of all those different foods. But in today's society, even living gluten-free, which is one of the main things that I needed to do, is eliminate the gluten. you can be gluten-free and still be unhealthy. It became it's not a be-all cure-all. It's truly those foods that provide all of those phytonutrients, all the health, all the life that God gave us, all those nutrients that needed to get into our bodies. And it was difficult. It was like my body needed to go through another layer of healing in order, and I couldn't eat anymore. Like, I physically couldn't, you can only ingest so much. And when I learned about the products of that Juice Plus has, and I read probably every inch of the website of the different research studies that have been done. I listened to every video that all these different traditional medical doctors are talking about, the benefits in their particular medical specialty. I mean, there was an eye doctor, there was, cardiovascular doctor, there was, and I think there's even an ear, nose, and throat doctor. Obviously, Dr. Odom, OBGYN. I mean, all these different specialties, but then also internal medicine and general practitioner and pediatricians. And all of them, were just speaking about the power of having those plant-based foods in our diet. And it just became like a huge light bulb going off for me. Like, so there truly are medical practitioners out there that know this. Yes. And I want to be a part of that, because I know that they're only going to be able to support me and the message that God gave me to do in my book. Like, I didn't have to flounder around by myself saying, this is just my message, this is just my story. But I had, these different professionals to help support that. I had products that had been research studies by major universities and international studies that were done, as I read all of that information, to say these products are beneficial to the body. And what else can you do? I mean, all you're doing is getting in more powerful nutrients for the body that it needs. So
yes, I love that. And you said that you saw some even more health improvements since adding Juice Plus to your diet. Tell us what other improvements, and your husband, who's been taking Juice Plus as well.
Yeah, for sure. I was having some hip pain. I have no idea why I was having the hip pain, but maybe God just showing me another avenue. But it was very painful for me to sleep in bed on my left side. And after a period of time of taking the Juice Plus products, that pain has subsided. Like, I can lay on that, that side of my body. As I mentioned earlier about, all I did was walking and, falling on my ankle. I saw that the bruising was just amazing. Like, it's still tender. And I think it's just, it was a bad enough, situation that happened but I can walk on it. I can still hike. I was just out hiking last week.
That's awesome.
But even so, and then there was another situation too, where I was hiking and I put my foot down on this rock that I thought was going to help stabilize me, but actually my foot slipped out from underneath me and I literally fell right on my right shoulder, and it did knock the wind out of me, but I had absolutely no bruising whatsoever from that. And then my husband's been taking it. His hair is so much fuller. I love his curls that he's got, that I've been complaining to him about his hair, his hairdresser cutting off all his curls, and now she can't cut them off because they're just too many that are there. So he's definitely seen a difference in that aspect for himself.
Yeah, that is great because good nutrition does things for the body you can't get any other way. And your body knows how to heal and grow the hair and all those things, but it needs the right nutrients. So I love that what we have bridges the gap from what you're eating to what you should be eating because we need a lot.
Yes.
Absolutely. And we have about 5 minutes left. Dr. Odom, would you mind kind of wrapping it up why you have been recommending Juice Plus for 25 plus years?
I'll be happy to, but Maureen, thank you so much for your book, all of the things that you've done that went into the book, and for sharing this with all of us. And this is a concept of of optimal health and what can we all do. And we know today that the common denominator for optimal health is to eliminate or certainly reduce chronic inflammation. There's another term called oxidative stress that's more scientifically oriented. But as you were having those tests done on the different food influences in your body, Maureen, we know that food can either promote inflammation, which a lot do, or it can eliminate or reduce it. And the foods that are in Juice Plus typically reduce inflammation. And they do that by donating electrons for these free radicals that are unbalanced that we've created because of the way that we live. So I think that your book really personifies what can happen when someone makes a decision, goes all in and says, I'm going to do this. And you can do it with diet, but it's hard. And most people don't like to make changes. And I say that in order to make changes, we have to make choices. We have to make better choices and eliminate those foods that are promoting inflammation and increase those foods that are making the inflammatory response less effective. And but for most people, their reasoning or their why for making these changes has to be strong enough. And in your case, Maureen, you were doing it not just for your own benefit, but you were doing this to glorify God and for the right reasons. And so for a lot of us, we're weak and we don't see the total package benefit that can occur by making these wholesale changes. And with Juice Plus, we all say one simple change. And what that really means is add all of these food components that are in these plant powders, whether we're making smoothies with them, or whether they're in a blend in capsule form or chewable form, or even if we change the foods that we eat and eat more plant food, go more heavily plant-based. And we don't ask people to become vegan, but what we do realize is the more plant food, the more fiber and the more phytonutrients that we're consuming, the more vegan we're becoming, because that's what we want to eat. And we realize this is absolutely what is changing the bacterial balance that is controlling these different areas of physiology in our body that are so dependent on what's happening inside the gut. And it's the foods that we get to choose to eat to influence this bacterial balance that ultimately causes us to have excellent health or poor health or somewhere in between. But we get to choose every day whether we want to love this body that God's given us, whether we want to love our brain, and whether we're willing to make the changes necessary to influence all of the different factors that are going into benefiting the different parts of our bodies, including these critical organs. And
I
my
love that.
my focus for the last 3 or 4 years, 2 or 3 years since this pandemic has been immune health, and everything that supports immune health is going to support brain health, cardiovascular health, reproductive health, all of these aspects of health. But in simple terms, it's what are we doing? Are we eating to benefit our brain and our heart, or are we eating for taste and pleasure, which so many of us have done all of our lives, and that's the life of just, Mitra Ray calls it default. It's just a life that we have, and we don't understand it, and we just keep doing it for taste and pleasure. But if we have the right motivation and the right reasons for why we're making these choices and these changes, we can absolutely influence the outcome in a positive way. Beautifully written, Maureen. Thank you again.
Yes, I'm so proud of you, and I love that I have the book. So if you want the book too, just reach out to Maureen. Yay, I say lots of us have the book. And
Yay.
yes, we have the book club. And if you want to be part of that, let us know. And if you want to get the book, let us know. Let me, Maureen, know. And we would be happy to get you that book. She has some beautiful bookmarks too.
Yes, I got some bookmarks if you're, so I can't trying to get this in focus. But anyway,
okay.
I'd love to be able to send you a bookmark too. So just private message me, for your address, and I'll get that mailed to you, or next time I see you or something. So thanks, Ruth. I see you made it. Thank you for coming. My girlfriend, Ruth, who we met at church, and is also a trail sister and stuff. So I'm just so touched, Laura, that all of you came to, and you've obviously supported me in this journey, and I'm just very grateful. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. It means a lot to me.
Yes, you are loved. And don't forget, I am recording it. So if anybody wants the recording, just let us know. Let one of us know, and we'll get you that recording too.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, Maureen. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And next week,
Love you all.
will be same Zoom number if you want to pop back in. And I believe Dr. Odom is going to do a teaching on gut health. So if you want to learn more about gut and brain, the connection and how it really affects it, your gut is where everything starts and ends. So does that sound good, Dr. Odom?
It sounds good. I can't wait to hear him.
Y'all join. I've heard him a million times, and I always learn something new. Bring a pen, paper, invite a friend. It's going to be great. All right, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Maureen. Thanks,
Thank
Angel.
you. Thank you,
Thank
Angel.
you.
Great
Thank you
job.
so much. Bye, Maureen. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Angel.
Bye.